This video is looking at the distance learning questions from the topic B4. Two not as challenging questions as we've had for the other topics, but still challenging all the same. First one looking at photosynthesis, so let's take a look. A group of pupils investigated the way in which the colour of light affects photosynthesis. So we know that the required practical for this topic is the effect of light intensity on rate of photosynthesis. They've taken what we know, they've applied it to a new context, which they do time after time, and it's to freak us out. We're not going to be freaked out by it, and they've changed it to colour of light rather than light intensity. Everything else will be the same. The pupils put a piece of pondweed into a test tube of water. They shone light from a lamp with a red light bulb onto the weed. Counted the bubbles of gas produced by the pondweed every minute for 3 minutes, and the diagram shows the experiment. So we've got the light bulb there, we've got the tube with the pondweed in. The pupils repeated their experiment using a yellow light bulb, a green light bulb and a blue light bulb. What was the independent variable in the investigation? So it was the colour of the light, or you could say the wavelength, or you could say the colour of the light bulb, or you could have even said filter. That was in the mark scheme, even though you just actually used a coloured light bulb. Okay, remember we're green penning, so add your green pen annotations. To make the investigation fair, the pupils needed to control some variables. Suggest one variable that the pupils could have controlled during their investigation. So there's loads of them here. We've got temperature, light intensity, or the distance the light is from the pondweed, the concentration of carbon dioxide in the air, other light that's in the room, so you could just have the light coming purely from this light bulb. The mass of pondweed, that one varied with type of pondweed, age of pondweed. There was lots of things they said about this. Volume of water that you've got in there. It's better to count the bubbles every minute for 3 minutes, as in get 3 repeat readings. So 1 minute we count how many for that minute, and then we do another one, and then we do a third one, so we've got 3 results. Then count all the bubbles in 3 minutes. If you imagine counting bubbles for 3 minutes, you're probably going to get distracted, maybe a bit bored, probably a bit bored. So rather than doing it for 3 minutes straight, do 1 minute and then go back and do another one and another one. So it makes it more reliable if you've got more than one result. That's why we talk about reliability. Less likely to lose count. You can spot anomalies and you can calculate a mean. Okay, so that's page 1. The table shows the pupils' results. We've got colour of bulb, we've got number of bubbles produced in 1 minute, the first, second and third minutes, and then a mean. Algae are tiny organisms that photosynthesize. In natural light, algae grow very quickly on the sides of a fish tank. The algae will make it difficult to see the fish. What would the best colour of light bulb to illuminate the fish tank to reduce the growth of algae? Use the results in the table to help you decide. So if we want the least amount of algal growth, then we need to have the one with the least number of bubbles, because that means it's photosynthesized at the slowest rate. So we went for the colour green. As you can see here, a lot lower number of bubbles being produced per minute. Okay, there it is. Explain why the colour you've chosen is the best. I've kind of done that already. The least number of gas bubbles, least number of oxygen, or least volume of oxygen, should I say, which means lowest rate of photosynthesis and therefore the least amount of glucose produced. There are 3 possible answers there for 2 marks, so you don't have to have all 3. 2 will do just fine. Okay. And that's question 1 done, so we've only got question 2 to go. And this one was from the other part of the topic. So we've done the plants bit, now we're doing the people bit. Metabolism is the sum of all chemical reactions in the cells of the body. Give one metabolic reaction is the formation of lipids. Okay, that's our facts. Give one other metabolic reaction in cells. The first ones I think are the ones you're probably going to go for. The other ones come up in the topic B5, which we haven't taught yet, so probably you wouldn't think of those, but they are on the mark scheme because when you do this exam, hopefully you've then know that topic well. Okay, so we've got respiration and we've got forming proteins. Those are the two that I think you would be more likely to come up with, but you only need one. So respiration would do the answer perfectly. You could have had forming or breaking of glycogen, and that's basically where we take in excess glucose, we convert it into glycogen for storage. Just like plants convert it to starch for storage, we can convert it to glycogen. More about that in B5. Breakdown of excess protein or forming urea, and again that's in B5. Table 1 shows the mean metabolic rate for humans of different ages. So we've got the metabolic rate, we've got ages varying there from 5 to 45, we've got males and females. What two conclusions can be made from the data in Table 1? Tick 2 boxes. Now the answers are, males have a higher metabolic rate than females after 5 years of age. So 5 years of age, exactly the same. After that, the metabolic rate in all of those 4 age categories afterwards is higher in males than it is in females. And the mean metabolic rate of females decreases faster than males up to 25 years. Okay, so we get a bigger decrease here up to 25 years, and then we just get that static place. Okay, so the mean metabolic rate decreases faster than males up to 25 years. So you can see 42 is a bigger drop than 45 from 53, again with 35, and then it just stays the same. Okay, into the next part of the question. This bit says, calculate the percentage decrease in the mean metabolic rate of males between 5 years and 45 years of age. Use the equation, percentage decrease equals decrease in metabolic rate divided by original metabolic rate times 100. So here's our males. We've gone from, the question says to go from 5 to 45. So 5 is 53, that's where I got this one from. And 45 is 36, that's where I got that one from. And 53 minus 36 is 17, and it says to divide by the original metabolic rate, which is 53, times it by 100 to turn it into a percentage, and we get this number. It did go on further on the calculator, but I've just gone for that for now. And then for that last mark, 3 significant figures. Okay, so I've taken it to 32.1. I've had to round up to make it 32.1. Hopefully that makes sense. So 1 mark for the calculation, showing how you've done it, 1 mark for the answer, and 1 mark for then going to 3 significant figures. That's the bit that people forget. Now what they're doing is they're actually reminding you of 3 significant figures by putting it just here as well. Particularly in physics, they're doing that now. Okay, regular exercise can increase metabolic rate. 2 people did 5 minutes of gentle exercise from rest. Table 2 shows the effect of the exercise on their heart rate. Okay, so we've got heart rate in beats per minute, we've got person R and person S, and we've got time, and we can see that person S has started off with a higher resting heart rate, and their heart rate increased the most as well. Okay, we may come back to that table in a moment. Okay. Describe 2 differences in the response of person R and person S to exercise. So person R's heart rate increased more slowly than person S. Okay, you can see if we work out some differences here, we can see that person R increased more slowly than person S. You can write the opposite of that. You can say person S, their heart rate increased at a faster rate, because this one's saying more slowly, so faster rate would be the opposite. Person R's heart rate leveled off, so you can see we've got to that 99, leveled off, whereas S continued to increase. Okay, and then a possible third mark, person R heart rate increased less overall than person S. So if we actually do the difference from start to finish, person R increased less overall than person S. Okay. Complete the graph to show the information with person S add a scale to the x-axis and label the x-axis. So here's my scale. Okay, I've done the minutes 1 to 5. I've labelled that as well. I've then plotted my points. Now, my points are that one small square is equal to 2. So halfway between 80 and 100 is 90. So just kind of get that fixed in your head first of all. I've plotted my points. I could have done a line of best fit. The mark scheme says I can, but because they've done point-to-point lines, I've done point-to-point lines, and I've labelled it person S. Okay, so 4 marks there, 1 for the correct labelling down here, 2 for plotting points correctly, and 1 for the line of best fit. Okay, last page. After 5 minutes of exercise, the heart rate of person S was 132 beats per minute. When person S rested, his heart rate decreased steadily at a rate of 12 beats every minute. So it was going down by 12 beats every minute back down to resting. Calculate how much time it would take the heart rate of person S to return to resting rate. So this is recovery time, okay? So person S, their heart rate, we said it was 132. We know that resting from either our table or our graph we can see is 78 here. So that's why I've done 132 minus 78. And then I've divided that by 12 because it's 12 beats going down every minute. And we got that to be 4.5 minutes. Okay, so I'll put 4.5 minutes in there. Be careful not to write 4.3 because thinking, oh, it's, you know, half an hour, 30. Okay, 4.5 is 4.5 minutes. Okay, don't write 4.3. Okay, we've got an investigation here where we haven't had this as any kind of required practical, but we're taking the knowledge of what we have done in class with exercise and we're applying it to that new situation. Again, trying to freak us out, but we can handle this. A student made the following hypothesis about heart rate of smokers and non-smokers during exercise. The statement is, during exercise, the heart rate of smokers increases more than the heart rate of non-smokers. Design an investigation. They're going to love this. You're going to see this at least a couple of times across the exams, okay, designing investigations that would allow you to test this hypothesis. So 1 mark for saying we're going to have 2 groups of people. We're going to have the smokers and the non-smokers. 2nd mark, talking about, again, that reliability. We need to have a good sample size, at least 5 people in each group. We need to have the same person doing this, all the people doing the same exercise at the same intensity for the same amount of time. We've talked about that before. It's really important that we've got a comparable exercise. And what we did in class is we did like star jumps or running on the spot, and we compared there. The best way to do this would be like a treadmill on the same incline, set for the same amount of time, at the same speed of the treadmill, okay, because then you know you're doing exactly the same activity, same intensity, same amount of time, okay. Each person, I said that bit already. Controlled variables, you could have anything from same number of people in each group, same gender, same level of activity, we said that already, same age, no other health issues, same type of exercise, same time of exercise, said those already. Then we record the heart rate for each person before and after the exercise. For this hypothesis, we don't need to know how it's changing over time. We can just do the beginning and the end. And then we can calculate the increase in heart rate by doing the heart rate at the end minus the heart rate at the beginning, so we can see how much it's gone up by. And then we can compare the results to see if it matches that hypothesis. So those are the questions done for the B4 distance learning questions. Slightly less challenging than they have been in the past. Hopefully a lot of people have had a go at them. I hope you found that useful. Thank you.